At best, the alien abduction phenomenon is a terrifying, traumatic experience. At its worst, well, we think they sometimes take people and don't put them back.
I lost my mother and brother to this trauma. He murdered her, then killed himself.
These women are being used as human incubators, with all their children stolen away into the night.
A 6-foot-tall entity of blue-white light paralyzed me, then bent down and said into my ear, "Hi, Steve." It knew my name.
We hear gruesome stories of experiments and dissections. Imagine dying on a metal table while paralyzed, surrounded by alien faces. It's a real horror story. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. I'm Leslie Shaw.
I'm Stephen Shaw, co-host.
Yes, welcome, everyone. And we're going to have our Christmas episode today with our wonderful guest, John Radke. He did our Christmas episode last year.
Yes.
And kind of really saved our butts because I hadn't done any research on anything. And he did this comprehensive Christmas show. So we had him on as a guest to explain all these marvelous Christmas myths and animals and creatures and ogres and stuff from Europe, especially.
Right, exactly.
And today we're going to talk about the wonderful discovery made of Enki's kingdom down in South Africa area.
Right.
And,
I've been doing some research on that.
Yeah, he did the research. So.
Right. Michael Tellinger and Richard Wade and a couple other scientists and investigators have actually been able to validate what was called the meetings of the three waters, or the hidden waters.
Or the place of the waters.
The place of the three waters.
In the Sumerian tablets, they call
the land
it
of Abzu, which is basically everything south of the equator, basically confirming that there's a huge city that they call Eridu, which was basically the capital city, if you want to call it that, of the Anunnaki. Now, the interesting thing is that it's right around the area of Maputo, and Maputo is the capital of Mozambique, and it's on the east coast, right next to South Africa. And over the past 20 years, they found over 2,000 gold mines that go down quite deep that have been dated to over 200,000 years ago. And also with the advancements of technology, such as satellite technology and LiDAR and SARS, they've been able to confirm that there was a huge thriving civilization with huge cities with hundreds of miles of connecting roads over a vast area dating back up to 212,000 years ago in the exact area that Sitchin said that this kingdom of Eridu is. And there's a huge port where Maputo is. There's this huge natural port. And there, of course, you got the ocean on one side.
And the Zambezi dumps into this bay.
The Zambezi and the Congo are right next to it. And
the Zambezi goes up to you go up the Zambezi and you're at Victoria Falls. So this is where the place of the waters in the Sumerian tablets was supposed to be.
Right.
And sure enough, another discovery that backs up Sitchin's work.
It's exactly where it's supposed to be. And of course, it's so old that nobody knows who built it. But the remnants are there basically saying, okay, they were mining gold and it was over 200,000 years ago.
And that almost predates modern man. I mean, I think it does.
Yes, well, we know that modern man for sure has been on the earth for about 125,000 years.
We know that
we found
for
so far.
Sure, but some people argue that
Michael
Homo
Cremo's
sapiens,
work would say this it's older.
It's older.
It appears to be that way.
But certainly these mines they can't test the mine itself, but they test the detritus down in the mine.
Yeah,
and sure enough,
there's 25 different ways apparently that you can use proton dating. You can use, of course, carbon-14, which is only good to 50,000 years, basically. And you can use the terrestrial nucleotides. But anyways, now
That's true. I'm kind of stuck in the old carbon dating we're mental mode, but I shouldn't be.
But so anyways, what it's showing is that now we can visualize actually these ancient cities and walls and roads that are there, okay? And they are dating accurately to that time frame.
Right where they're supposed to be. And it was kind of interesting that Enki was supposed to be the god of the underworld. Right. And sure, there are a lot of mines there, but I think he was just because, his city was down at the bottom of the world. So that's why they called it and it sort of got changed to the underworld.
Yeah, the area apparently is called Abzu, which
Mhm.
was the area of the Anunnaki, and the city was commonly known as Eridu. But Abzu was the lower.
I thought Eridu was in the Mesopotamia area.
Well, this is apparently it's down there.
There's a southern one, maybe.
Right, a southern Eridu, and Abzu was the land down under, basically the lower world,
Mhm.
which is basically meaning today's South Africa and Mozambique and surrounding, countries.
That's so cool. Well, we're going to break for a short word from our sponsor, which is our merch page.
Oh, yes. I want some of that.
And then we'll be back with our wonderful guest.
Leslie, you're kidding me.
What?
Our merchandise store is up?
Of course, my darling. All of our amazing concepts of shirts, mugs, and bumper stickers are ready to go.
No way.
Way.
Even my brilliant Egyptian concept that no one else ever thought of before?
Yes, that one too, and lots more. All at our new store at etsy.com/shop/abductions101.
Wow. I want a shirt and a mug and...
Well, Stephen, and all our curious listeners, just go to etsy.com/shop/abductions101 to see all of our unique designs.
I'm going there.
And welcome back, everyone, to our show, Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. We're going to introduce our wonderful guest for tonight. It's John Radke of the Dairyland Frights podcast. And John last year really bailed us out. He did a Christmas show of his own. And then we had him on for a Christmas show and tell us all about it. So we didn't have to do the Christmas research like he did.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do it again this year. So we need your help again, John.
And this one
Absolutely.
it's going to be focused more on ghosts this time, right?
Correct. We are going to be talking about allegedly true paranormal stories revolving around Christmas ghosts. So some of them are pretty famous. Some of you'll be like recognize and be like, oh, I think I've heard that before. And some of them you'll be like, I've never heard of that. And that's pretty cool. Yeah, but they have all a Christmas theme, as you want to call it. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. And I did a little show, just a quick little thing that will be coming out. It was on Patreon, and now it will be coming out this weekend for everybody to listen to and check out and have some fun with.
Great. Certainly, there's a lot of people are just unfamiliar. Even like Christmas carols. I had a book of Christmas carols, 200 different Christmas carols. The regional ones, like from Northern and Central Europe and Eastern Europe, and it's interesting the history, how it's
and we hadn't heard
evolves.
of most of them,
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I found super interesting was, and I can't believe that people would do this, but back in like the 1800s, 1700s, telling ghost stories at Christmas, that's what you did. You would gather, you would gather your family around the fire and you would tell ghost stories. And
is that where Charles Dickens got his idea?
Yeah, a lot of them were. Yeah, a lot of them would be like that. Some would be, maybe some legends in the town, maybe, some other paranormal findings maybe the family had, or just made up, just the uncle. It was a good storyteller, and he would gather the family around and tell a ghost story. And that
now we call them like urban legends around the campfire, right?
Yeah, right. But I just thought it was really funny that around Christmas time, where it's more about joy and love and peace, that you're telling these, and some of them were pretty graphic from my understanding, from my research, that I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling these horrible ghost stories, and some of the stories I will share tonight are like, really? Did people talk about this? This really happened? So it's really interesting, because again, it's Christmas. So everybody's more in a better mood and everything. And then this is more Halloween, right? You think it's more of a Halloween theme, but no, it's Christmas. So there we go.
Great.
It is when an opportunity to talk, and somebody has to entertain. They don't have They don't have television or
Nope.
football games or,
or internet or nothing.
Internet,
Cell phone. Yeah.
We forget just how basically how recently the ability to read and have printed material. It's not that many hundreds of years ago. You'd have to like orators where they had big time jobs. They had to remember the history to pass it on. Verbal history because they didn't have the ability to read or write. Just even like 600 years ago. Not that far back.
Absolutely. And you got to remember too, there wasn't a lot of electricity as we have today where you can turn on the lights and read a book or something like that, or even have a book. Having a book and reading a book was typically for the upper middle class or basically the wealthy people. So poorer people, they would live in candlelight and really didn't have anything to read or anything to do after their day was done. So, I mean, you can't crash in front of the TV. It'd just be like, I'm crashing on the couch, turn on a sitcom or something. No. So you would have to gather and tell stories until people got tired and went to bed. So that's interesting.
I heard that shadow puppetry was really big back in those days, but you had to do it with the candlelight.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's funny. A couple of years ago, we had a blackout, and the entire evening, the power was out, and we were just bored out of our minds because we're used to having television or being able to read. And I tried to read by candlelight. I had to light 50 candles, and it still wasn't enough to read by. People don't realize that just one or two candles is not going to work.
We went outside and started looking for UFOs.
Yeah.
And, might as well, something to do.
Yeah, might as well. Maybe they had something to do with it. You never know, right?
Yeah. So, obviously, why don't you get us started with your story?
Yeah. So here is the first story, which I really like because it was in Brooklyn, New York, of all places, which I think is kind of funny. But this is like in the 1800s. So it's like, okay, when I was reading this story, I was like, wow, this is really interesting. So the story is an alleged phantoms plagued a Brooklyn home during Christmas time. So a few weeks before Christmas times in 1878, Edward F. Smith was at his home in Brooklyn, New York, when the doorbell rang. He answered the door, but there was no one there. This soon became a nightly occurrence. The doorbell would ring, only for Smith to find no one outside and no signs that anyone had been there at all. Growing frustrated, Smith sprinkled ash and flour along the path to his door, expecting to find footprints left behind, but the substances were undisturbed and the noises continued. No matter where he and his family stood around the house, the noises remained unidentifiable. Smith and his family were growing more concerned as the doorbell ringing turned to an aggressive banging on the doors. Eventually, they contacted the police. The ringing and banging continued, and still no one was able to identify its source. One night, a brick suddenly flew through the window from the outside, even though police officers were standing nearby and saw no one. Although they investigated the home for some time, police were unable to identify the cause of the disturbances, and Smith and those who witnessed the strange occurrences ultimately concluded it must be paranormal in nature. So this happened during Christmas time, and I just thought it was really interesting that someone's banging and pounding on the door, and the police come and they see a brick fly through the window.
What are the cops going to do?
This was 1878, Brooklyn, New York. Edward Smith and his family. Did it like, obviously it must have stopped at some point, right?
Did it repeat next year?
So the story does not say. They just basically say that must be paranormal, and it does not go into what happened after this, which I tried to find out what did. I could not find anything on it. So maybe it's just someone was having a little bit of fun and telling this story, but I thought that was really interesting.
No, that sounds like a pretty cool haunting
that
there.
was pretty smart to try and figure out like if it's a prank going on by putting like whatever it be flour.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, that it was, he was trying to figure it out and then see footprints and then be like, aha, I got you and everything. And then there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Like
You'd assume it was kids, at least if it happened in our neighborhood, we say, damn kids.
Exactly. So, so I think that's really interesting. So
cool. That is a cool one.
This one's even better. So a ghost supposedly disrupted a Christmas party at Alcatraz. Yes, that Alcatraz.
Oh, okay.
So Alcatraz, the isolated penitentiary located in the middle of California, San Francisco Bay, closed down in 1963. But tales of those who were once held on the island continue to haunt generations of onlookers and visitors. Often referred to as the Rock, Alcatraz has gained a reputation for unexplainable and shocking ghost encounters, and one of the most notable was recounted during Christmas. So, back in the 1940s, while the facility was still in operation, the warden at the time, Warden Johnston, decided to throw a small Christmas party at his boarding house on the island. During the gathering, a few of the guards began retelling the story of a phantom figure who appeared before them wearing a gray suit, brimmed cap, and sporting mutton chop sideburns. All the guards could do was stare at the ghostly figure in shock before they had a chance to move. The room suddenly turned very cold, and the fire in the Ben Franklin stove was extinguished. And just as suddenly as he appeared, the phantom man vanished. So basically, they were having a party. This phantom shows up, and they're like, oh my God, what do we do? And then it's gone.
And then I've had enough alcohol. I'm going to stop now.
That's interesting. Saying that it seems to be a commonality with ghosts when they manifest. They somehow suck the power, certain types of energy they need, like either batteries or just they turn the room cold, and they will extinguish flames too, like candles or fires. So this ghost at this party was seen by obviously probably more than one person.
Yeah.
Yes, it was seen by the guards because he was having, for like the staff, he's having a Christmas party, office Christmas parties, we would say today. And this figure, phantom, just showed out of nowhere. And then when he did, the fire went out and everybody was like shocked. They couldn't move. And then it just vanished. And I did some research on it. Supposedly the phantom was an older warden, and what they think was the warden didn't approve of the party,
right?
so the warden came in there to be like, hey, what are you guys doing, having a party here
in my house? Because he probably thinks it's still his house,
Yeah, and the mutton chop would sound like more like around 1880s.
Yeah, correct, around the Civil War, and people forgot. Yeah, this was a in the Civil War was still, not constructed, but it was, already
common affectation they would do, like the funny mustaches or the mutton chops, So.
And I've heard of ghosts affecting electronic things like doorbells, and I've heard of them ringing phones. They can actually affect electronics.
It happened to my family. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Your old Glegley experience.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So the next one I thought was kind of interesting too. This is so weird because all of them kind of have a theme of specters and phantoms and a ghost showing up around Christmas. And I think that's kind of interesting because, again, Christmas time is a joyful time where you have everyone together, and ghosts were people like us once, right? So why wouldn't they want to be like, hey, I'm coming to the party? So A spectral socialite is said to sing Christmas carols. Yes, that is correct. And I'll get into that. Sing Christmas carols at Hotel Bethlehem. Okay. So Hotel Bethlehem, located in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, is home to a number of chilling ghost stories, none the least of which centers around a young girl named May Yohe. Born in 1866, I love these 1800 stories. There's just so much fun. Mary, or May, was raised on the stage, inspiring within her a love for singing and performing from a young age. Her talent gained her much attention, and eventually she found herself performing with great success on stages in Paris and throughout Europe. She even caught the attention of a wealthy lord who quickly married her and made her a member of the British aristocracy. Tragically, her success led her down a dangerous path. Her marriage fell apart after the lord who swept her off her feet went bankrupt. And she went on to marry an American soldier who robbed her of much of her wealth. So she's not having a great time, May. At the time, her eventual reports claim that she recalled her years in Bethlehem as the best of her life. So to this day, in this hotel, Hotel Bethlehem, visitors claim to see apparitions of young May Yohe dressed in elegant attire and either singing at the piano or pacing next to the Christmas tree. Some even claim to have heard her faint but recognizable voice singing one of her favorite songs. So, I mean, that'd be fun, right? Go to a hotel and somebody's singing. Yeah, like, I don't know, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't know if they or whatever.
That would be certainly on a bucket list, for us. Like, if, for sure. I mean, it sounds like it's a repeatable, a fairly frequent occurrence.
It is. So this supposedly, I did a little more research on this. There is a room where she's supposed to be in, seen the most. It's, extra money if you want to do it, folks. Obviously, they always got to do that to you. But people have said they have come down like early in the morning to get breakfast or whatever, and have seen this woman like pacing back and forth, because there's the piano and then like the huge Christmas tree, you know what I'm saying? And they've seen her either one, pacing around the tree, two, sitting on the piano and kind of like humming, you know what I mean? Like she's trying to get her voice ready, or have heard very faintly, have heard her singing like Silent Night or something a little more around that era. And I don't know if Silent Night, to be honest with you, if that's the real song, but something around from the 1800s, early 1900s, her singing that. And people have claimed, they've gone to the manager and have said, "Oh, wow, that beautiful young lady, she has a great voice. Did she come out? Is there a time I can come and see her again?" And they're like, "No, that's May. Or Mary."
She comes and goes. People are like, "No, I saw her. She was right there at the piano." And they're like, "No, she's a spirit." And the funny thing is, people really don't freak out. You know what I mean? And investigators, I guess, have gone in this hotel and they say she's very friendly. They've gotten EVPs of her supposedly singing. I don't know if that's true or not. I could not locate any of those EVPs, but I just thought that was sweet. You know what I mean? That's kind of a sweet little story, right? That this woman had your ghosts don't make the room cold, right? Like,
yeah,
the angry ghosts that do that, right?
Yeah.
So she's my kind of ghost, like a happy singing ghost. That's my
definitely
kind.
Time for a few ring cameras set up there, like go down the paranormal Cotton Yak, those shows like that.
They should if they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the next one I thought was really interesting too. This is raucous revelers are set to ring in the season at the Crescent Hotel. I thought that's kind of funny. So the Crescent Hotel is far is by far one of the most notoriously haunted hotels in the U.S. It's located along the northern border of Arkansas near the Ozark National Forest. And this hotel has been plagued by tragedy and ghost stories since it was first erected, you guessed it, folks, in the 1880s. Like everything bad. It seems like the 1800s was a terrible time to live because there's a lot of just terrible stuff that happened. But anyway, while there are many different legends and ghostly sightings associated with almost every square inch of the hotel's estate, one story continues to astonish visitors to this day. Allegedly, one year during Christmas time, visitors came to view the hotel's Christmas tree, only to find that the Christmas tree and all its packages were mysteriously moved to the other side of the room. This could have been a prank staged by the hotel staff or a visitor. However, the occurrence was accompanied by sightings of various phantom spirits dressed in Victorian-era clothing, wandering around the hotel's dining room. Some said the spirits appeared to be playful, and they moved the gifts and the furniture across the room as a joke. Okay, it's funny, ghost. This was seemingly confirmed when the hotel staff reportedly returned the next day, only to find everything was back exactly where it was supposed to be. So this one I thought was funny. Yeah, this one I thought was funny. And you can look up this hotel. It's a beautiful, magnificent hotel that you can stay at. And it has a lot of darkness to it, but this is one of the nicest stories. And, 1800s, there's a lot of people in that hotel, murders, suicides, unfortunately, you name it. It was a lot, a lot of going in that hotel. But, and I like to cover it one day on the podcast. But, again, the staff is like, furniture moving and everything. Again, no one has this on video, so I can't really confirm it. But the staff says they see chairs move. They see, sometimes they'll, put a folder down, and then it would be instead of the left side, it would be on the far right side, or sometimes they'll be moving other things. And people just joke about it. And I guess supposedly they have names for the spirits, not in this article, but supposedly some of the nicer spirits they have names for, and they'll be like, "Hey, Charlie, how you doing tonight?" And they'll talk to them. And then, supposedly like some of these ghosts will then, move the chair, and occasionally a manager will have to tell them, "Could you please put things back the way you found it?" And then they'll close for the night.
Okay.
And then come back and everything is put back to, where it was. So
that was really interesting. Do they also open doors or drawers or cabinets or things like that? Or walk up and down stairs, maybe? Have you heard about that at that hotel?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
They when they move furniture, like heavy items too, isn't this poltergeist activity more than regular haunting where you see apparitions,
Yeah, I mean, but usually poltergeist activity, not all the time, I guess, is more negative, and it's associated around one person, usually around a teenage girl, typically. Yeah. And it's usually negative energy, This doesn't seem to be focused around anybody because the staff has come and go over the years. It just seems like these Victorian ghosts are like, "I'm bored. Let's have a little fun."
Hey, the tree's supposed to be on the other side.
Yeah, even with my family going back 4 generations that we've been tracking our stuff, it seems to have also come out of the Victorian era, going back to England, Scotland, and Germany. When you track it back, it's around about that same time period too.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Right. So that's a good segue, Steve, because the next one is going to be, we're going over the pond to the UK. And this one you might have heard of because it's one of the most famous cases that involve that you can see on the internet, supposedly caught a picture of a ghost. And to this day, that picture has been scrutinized many, many, many times, and people can't find, if it's fake. They've done everything to it, and none of them can say with yes, utmost certainty that this is a fake picture. So
what does it look like?
Oh, you can look it up when I give you the name, and you guys can maybe look it up after this. Google it.
Yeah, I'll find a picture and put it up.
I'd Google it. It is a lady coming down these steps, and
yeah,
it's like,
downstairs.
Yeah.
I've heard of this, I think, or seen it. I think.
Yeah, it's a famous picture in the paranormal. That has been one of the few pictures that people have not been out with utmost certainty say it's fake. So, and that lady is the brown lady of Renham Hall. And it is, like I said, it's perplexed visitors and paranormal investigators for hundreds of years. So back in the 1700s, owner Charles Townsend married a young woman named Dorothy Walpole. While they lived happily together for some time in Renham Hall, Townsend soon became paranoid that his new wife was becoming unfaithful to him and eventually driving himself mad with jealousy. He decided to hide Dorothy away in the hall, telling all his friends or their friends and family that she had tragically passed. And way to go. Thanks, Charles. So I guess he held her prisoner there. So Dorothy was forced to stay inside the mansion, allowed only to wander through its halls. Not long after, she perished, never having left Raynham Hall after her husband imprisoned her. So ever since her passing, people have witnessed the image of a woman in a tattered brown dress wandering through the halls, and some of these reported encounters are truly horrifying. Yes, some are not really that nice. They're a little scary. But one visitor,
tell us all about it.
So one visitor, speaking of that, unaware of the brown lady's legend, approached a woman in the hall only to have her look at him with a glowing face, but where her eyes should have been, there were only empty sockets. So that's not good.
Here go the hairs.
Yikes, right?
That is creepy. Yeah.
And then years later, after numerous other reported sightings, and this has been, researched, you can go to there to this day and do a tour and visit Renham Hall. So years later, after numerous reported sightings, a photographer from Country Life magazine visited Renham Hall to document it for an article. After snapping a photograph of the central stairwell, he saw within the image a hazy silhouette that many believe is none other than Dorothy Walpole, the brown lady. So like I said, you guys can Google that once you listen to this. Look at the picture yourself. It's, you can tell it's, I don't know, for the most part, is a woman. There's not what I would say distinguishing marks of like her.
No, but it's kind of like a shape of a lady. So, yeah,
absolutely.
And it's got a history behind it too, which would make sense. For instance, like I think we told John about the full body apparition I saw on Catalina Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lady walked by.
Daytime. It was. We did some research into her. I was only about 16 years of age, and my dad and I were remodeling the Christ house.
This old Queen Anne mansion on Catalina Island.
It's the second most famous house in Avalon. And I was just listening to music while I was redoing the lower kitchen and listening to one of Chicago's tapes, the group Chicago. And and this woman in old time clothes with dark kind of curly hair just kind of glided by the back door. I mean, upright, right? She kind of paused for a second and kind of gave me this look of like, what are you doing in my kitchen listening to that music? And just walk by,
rock and roll music,
but not like a step, but it was just like walking, gliding.
Yeah,
and I got up right away and I ran to the back door and to see, like, 'cause she was trespassing, right? So I wanted to see where she went, and there was no place for her to go.
She was gone.
She was just, there was no place for her to hide, no doors, no trees that were there. And we later found out that she was.
We did some research about the house, and a confirmed bachelor lived in it before that, and another confirmed bachelor or his wife didn't like it, and so she didn't stay there. There was only one woman for about 40 years that lived in the house at all, ever. And we looked her up and found she had written a book, and we found a picture of her. And Steven says that's the woman he saw.
Yeah, she was a socialite in Pasadena, California, and she kind of like, that was like
their summer home.
But I swear it was just like, I didn't think about it for years. So I told my family about it, my dad, but once we did some research and said, oh my God, that's who I saw.
Yeah.
Daytime, about noon.
Wow. Yeah, I love that story. That's really interesting. Yeah, that's great. So if it's okay, I'll go on to the next story.
What's the next one?
Yeah, we're going to stay in England, folks, or the UK, whatever you want to call it. And this one is the legend of the mistletoe bride who haunts England's Bramshall house. So the legend of the mistletoe bride has been retold for centuries and has been taken many forms. While the story's true origin is difficult to determine, many have come to believe its roots are in the disappearance of Lord Level's bride at the Bramshall house in Hampshire, England. So maybe you can ask your, family, his sister, and see if she's heard of this one. So allegedly, Lord Level was preparing to wed a young woman related to Sir John Cope, the owner of the Bramshall house. This was around Christmas time, so mistletoe hung throughout the mansion, inspiring the wedding party to play a game. The young bride-to-be would hide somewhere in the mansion, and the groomsmen would all seek her out. And whoever found her first would get to kiss her. Oh, I kind of like that game. So the bride went to hide, and the wedding party sought to find her. However, the minutes turned to hours, and they still could not find her. Eventually, the game turned terribly serious, as no matter of where they looked, she remained missing. Not until 50 years later did Lord Lovell, still seeking answers to his bride's disappearance, happen upon a secret closet in an upstairs room of the Bramshall house. Inside, he found a wooden chest sealed shut with a lock. Upon opening the chest, he found the nearly unrecognizable remains of his bride.
Oh my God, someone killed her and locked her in a chest and hid it in a secret passage?
I think she went in the chest, locked it, and then went, uh-oh. I'm stuck.
Oh my God. Like a kid caught in a fridge, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
A game of hide and seek gone terribly wrong.
Terribly wrong.
Yeah. God, hide and seek can be dangerous. That is the lesson, kids, tonight. Be careful.
Yeah. Be careful.
So the owners of the house now, they like mistletoe's not a big thing now, right? I mean, unless you're like really traditional. So what they say is the owners who have owned this house, when they don't put out mistletoe, they hear like bangings and like wailing, like a woman crying, like she's banging. So I'm guessing that's her trying to get out of the chest.
Wow.
And no one heard her.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Poor thing.
Yeah. And but when they do put mistletoe around the house, which they basically each owner tells them to do that, like Christmas time, put mistletoe up. And they're like, okay, fine.
Or else.
Or else, right? Like fine. And then there's no screaming or banging. But as soon as they take the if they do not put the mistletoe around Christmas time, there's just screaming and banging and wailing. Now, the funny thing was, I could not find, is that true for the rest of the year? You know what I mean? I could not find anything. I'll have to do some more research on it, but I would guess so. Wouldn't you guys think that? Like, why would she just around Christmas time with no mistletoe, and then the rest of the year there's no mistletoe? So
but that's when she died, was around Christmas. So perhaps because people do kind of sometimes hauntings do happen just at certain times and not year round,
and
right?
It seems like too around the winter solstice there seems to be an increase in the psychic energy somehow.
Sure.
Around the solstices and the equinoxes seem to be kind of almost like energy nodal points. So I'm not surprised. Also, like birthdays, I just had some weird stuff happen on my brother's birthday, December the 1st. That I won't go into that.
We talked about it last time.
That's where.
Let's hear another one of John's stories.
Yeah. So this is one of the last ones, staying in England, and you have heard of this woman, I guarantee you, if you've studied any history at all, Anne Boleyn.
Oh, yes.
Henry VIII's many wives who he had beheaded, is said to return to her child home every Christmas Eve. So Hever Castle or Hever Castle, I'll have my British friends tell me which is right. Just, tell Leslie and Steve, comment on their podcast when they tell them about how great it is and you love listening to them, say if I'm mispronouncing it, which is nestled deep in the British countryside of Kent, was once the home to the Boleyn family. Anne Boleyn, the most well-known member of the family, lived the early part of her life there before she married King Henry VIII. Within a few short years of her marriage, however, Anne was targeted by dissent and gossip within the castle, accusing her of everything from witchcraft to adultery. Eventually, her husband formally accused her of these charges, and she was ultimately executed.
Whether she's same.
And Anne Boleyn is quite a big figure around that area in this Kent, where they have seen her spirit. And some of her, before I get to this, some of her spirit have seen her like carrying her head. Other people have seen her without her head, wandering the streets, carrying her head. Other people have claimed that, they see her, and when she turns around, her neck kind of like goes like this, like she's trying to keep it on and she can't. I'm like, oh my God, that would be scary, wouldn't it? You're taking a walk at night and all of a sudden you see this ghostly figure and it looks at you, the head just slowly slides off.
Starts to slide off.
Oh my gosh.
That's when you need a bowling knot to keep it on.
Bad, Stephen.
Hand her some duct tape, right? Here's some duct tape. There we go. Duct tape fixes everything. So whether she suffers from heartbreak, or homesickness, sure, Anne Boleyn's spirit is said to haunt the halls of her childhood home, Hever Castle. However, she allegedly only appears on one day of the year, Christmas Eve.
Huh?
Rumors persist that her somber specter is seen drifting silently over the picturesque bridge that spans the River Eden in the grounds of the home where she knew much happiness. So there you go. I thought those were really interesting stories that kind of ranged in the States and overseas and everything in the UK. And all these happen at Christmas time. So
you did save the best for last. Wow, most famous for last, certainly.
For sure,
Anne Boleyn,
Anne of 1,000 days, they called her sometimes because that's how long she reigned.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And there's more stories out here, folks, that I think are really interesting that you can go on and check out, whether on Reddit or other. There's books out there full of these stories, which families have, passed down from generations that are just stories. They're not true or not. They're just their uncle in the 1800s would tell this story about a ghost, like I was saying originally. So, fascinating stuff.
Thank you for joining us with your stories again. They were just as good as last time. I really enjoyed last time too. Those cute little like spoon licker and bowl scraper, those are my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, I always love, and I can't remember the name of the dwarf or whatever it was, where it's in the barn and you gotta like feed it, and if you don't, it like comes in and, like kicks your house open and like busts everything.
Isn't that one?
Like,
it's like a Welsh name. It's like with too many consonants in it, like M Y L F.
Yeah, exactly. And then Krampus, and then some of the other where they just beat the kids with a stick when they're bad. I'm like, really, guys?
Yeah, all we have these days is just Elf on a Shelf. I mean, it's so lazy, so lazy. The Elf on the Shelf. I'm watching what you're doing.
It's so funny how often they creep their kids out. It's like
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. We do like what? I'm sure your parents probably did. Like, you're gonna get a lump of coal, or you're gonna get nothing because they're seeing you're on the naughty list. They're
my mom would say, "What are you gonna get? 2 jumps at the oven door." Basically means you're gonna get nothing.
Exactly. Right.
2 jumps.
Yeah. That cracks me up. So so there's some good Christmas stories that you can read out there, like I said, and you can listen to this too and go like, wow. And again, they're allegedly true. I'm not saying they are true, but allegedly true, but they're very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think yarns around the fire tend to grow every year. Myths will kind of
depending on the storyteller and how much booze they've had, they can get embellished for sure.
Apple cider,
apple cider,
hard cider.
Yeah, cider.
My sister and her husband have definitely encountered some real phenomena. Mary
Queen of Scots. They went to her where she spent time with her prince. Philip? What was her prince? Anyway, she and her consort or whatever, and they actually heard them walking across the floor. They got the recording of them walking across the floor and actually saying something. I forget what the words were, but the
chair moved once.
And they moved stuff too. So
don't sit in my chair.
It's so exciting, to
some EVP stuff they got too. So it's these things do exist and they do seem to happen. Like, for instance, like Christmas is a very powerful time. It seems to be, and I think that there is some validity to some of it. Like to say, like every myth is really kind of rooted in a truth. Something that did happen.
Yeah, absolutely. and like I said, ghosts were people like us once too, right. And really around the holidays is where a lot of people feel, unfortunately, who are lonely, sad because they're not with people, or if they're alone and they're watching other people celebrate, not being a part of things, it's kind of depressing, and that kind of stinks. But again, ghosts are like that too. Everybody, like I said, that one ghost, is watching everybody go in this hotel, and she's like, "Well, I want to sing for everybody," because I love this time. So.
And prisons
and animals will do that too. Animals will be seen sometimes too. They'll come back and re-haunt places, or like they'll go up and down the hallway.
Prisons, I think, are a common place for hauntings, and I think it's because of the suffering. Somehow the dying in misery, so to speak, sometimes makes a ghost out of you. I believe.
Yeah,
battlefield like Gettysburg. That's another common one where people see the lights around Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Soldiers.
Not necessarily on Christmas, but
yeah. I always, one of my wishes to do is like go to a different place to see how Christmas time is celebrated there, maybe out of the country and stuff. Because like in Europe and stuff, they celebrate it completely different from us. And they do have, like in Germany, they do have, Krampus Festival or Krampusnacht. So it's, it's a night where Krampus, a guy dressed in a Krampus outfit, like runs around, knocks on doors, having fun, obviously. But man, if you go on, there's this one video I'll have to try to find and share on my social media. So this Krampusnacht, everybody knows in the town this is happening, and they tell their little kids, "Oh, Krampus is coming around. You better be nice," which I think is kind of scary when you see what Krampus really is. For like a 4-year-old, I would flip out. I know I would if I was 4 and saw this thing. And this guy dresses up, with the makeup or whatever they do, mask, and he knocks on these doors, and the parents know he's coming, and the kid opens the door, and here's this huge demon-like figure standing there. And
have you been
like,
good, little boy?
Yeah. And there's this video of that, and the parents are like, I wonder who that is. And they're like, oh, Santa, Saint Nick, Saint Nick.
God.
That
would be terrifying for a little 3-year-old,
Yeah,
Scar 'em for life,
Yeah, right. And they open the door, and there's this video of this. They open the door, and it's like, blah, and the kids are like, blah, just calling,
Aww.
And I'm like, way to go, Mom and Dad.
I like how John is like, this I've got to see.
I like that.
I'm going to switch to Kwanzaa. I think I'll just start, for the first Kwanzaa ceremony was done in a Kwanzaa hut. Kwanzaa hut.
Nice.
That's kidding. That's a military joke.
He likes to make
a Kwanzaa hut.
He likes to start, what are they called?
Yeah, fake rumors, urban legends, urban myths.
Yeah, he likes to make his own urban legends.
Yeah, I was circulating one years ago that Billy Idol was actually the illegitimate love child of Richard Dawson. Richard Dawson's illegitimate love child.
And that one didn't stick? Oh, come on.
We're still working on it.
Yeah, keep working on that one. I'll support you on that one.
That one can be believed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Who wouldn't believe he kissed so many women on Family Feud? You wonder, like,
there is a one when we were growing up that Mr. Rogers actually fought the Viet Cong. He was actually in the war, the Vietnam War. He fought the Viet Cong. That one was floating around, and it's complete. It never happened. He did not go to Vietnam, but it was a popular urban legend.
Yes,
Fought the Viet Cong.
Yes, I've heard that urban legend. In fact, people said he was a Marine sniper, and I think that's just great. And then supposedly the story goes he's this Marine sniper, and then after killing how many people, he just finally just said, I'm done. I want peace and love.
Yeah.
It could be. It'd be like the pendulum swings, right?
Yeah. And it's a great, and some people believe that. They're like, oh, that makes sense. The guy now is, I'm like, really? That makes sense? I don't know about that.
I'll buy that.
That's awesome.
Well, John, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about these Christmas ghosts. And make sure now, tell everybody again where they can hear the whole show and see the whole show.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then obviously wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, which is Dairyland Frights and Abductions 101 with Steve and Leslie. So you can check us out there, YouTube and all that's good place, Apple, and at least with me, Apple and Spotify. And yeah, check it out. And please comment. And, for everyone on this call, we love when you reach out and comment. I'm sure, Steve and Leslie like that. I know they deal with a little bit different than I do, focusing on UFOs and everything, which is awesome. I don't focus on as much as them, which that's why you should listen to their show. So find out all about abductions and some interesting facts that are coming out about, about UFOs and abductions. It's becoming more to the forefront, but I do a bunch of fun stories and I love tackling them. And like I said, my Christmas show will be out on the 21st, December 21st, and you can listen to it. And then also I'm going to do, by the way, there's a very nice woman that I met in my interviews. Her name is Rissa, and she's with Tea and Smoke from with Rissa. And basically she is a medium and a scryer. And we did a show last year where I brought on this show some of her findings about, like Leslie was talking about last year, but some of the monsters and Krampus and some stuff you've heard about and you've not heard about. And I'll re-release that around Christmas time. So
great.
Exciting. And you have a good laugh and you can have a great discussion with your family about, who believed in this and who didn't. So
right.
Thanks again, John. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love you guys. Whenever you need me, I'm here for you.
And thank you for tuning in, everyone at home. And we'll see you for our Our New Year's episode
We'll
after
see
this.
you on the dark side.
Well, we're just going to tease our New Year's episode. We're going to do the same thing we did last year, which is we're not going to have a guest. We're going to update people on all of the most recent discoveries and theories that are coming out.
Yeah, support our theories.
Yeah, so we'll do that with maybe some fake champagne. We've given up drinking, so we'll just use Martinelli cider or something and toast in the new year.
Perfect.
And goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, and
thanks, everybody. Stay spooky.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy
There it is. There it is. Okay.
Good evening. Are you wondering if the UFO phenomenon is real?
Are you wondering who is flying the UFOs in our skies?
Are you wondering if aliens are really abducting people?
Then you need to read this book.
The book is titled Who They Are and What They're Up To.
Find out the true identity of the aliens.
Learn a very brief history of the UFO cover-up.
Find out where the aliens are hiding.
Find out why our government is in league with them.
Learn about their bizarre hybrid breeding program.
Find out why their technology is 13,000 years ahead of ours.
The reference section of this book alone is worth the price.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw.
Now available on Amazon and coming soon in the Spanish and Czech languages.
And soon to be in English and Spanish audiobook.
With a new foreword by fellow author and abductee Karen Wilkinson.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw, now available on Amazon.